Welcome everyone. Today we're diving into Module 3, Unit 3, ARS 1, Lessons 1 through 8. In this arc, students are building towards something really important. They are learning how to understand and explain how birds use their body parts to survive. During our time together today, keep this in mind. Students are not just learning about birds, they are learning how to communicate their understanding clearly. This visual shows the instructional journey students take across Lessons 1 to 8. Each stop along the road represents a different way students build knowledge, through research, reading, note-taking, discussion, drawing, and writing. You'll notice we begin with students analyzing bird riddles and understanding how clues describe body parts and their functions. Then in Lessons 3 through 7, students do the heavy lifting. They are researching their expert birds, using texts and images to gather information, and recording how body parts help birds survive. All of that leads to Lesson 8, the science talk, where students explain their thinking out loud. So the question to keep in mind is, are students consistently being supported in explaining how a body part helps a bird survive? Because that idea drives everything. In this arc, reading, language, and writing are not taught separately, they are working together. Reading helps students find and understand information. Language gives students the words and sentence structures to explain their thinking. And writing is where students organize and communicate that understanding. This integration is what prepares them for both the science talk and the performance task. Everything in this arc is building toward two things. First, the science talk, where students use their notes to explain their thinking using complete sentences and evidence. And second, the expert bird riddle, where students write to teach others about how a bird's body helps it survive. Even though it's called a riddle, this is informational writing. Students are explaining, not guessing. So throughout instruction, we want to be asking, are students prepared to explain their thinking clearly, both orally and in writing? Here's how the lessons build toward that goal. In Lessons 1 and 2, students are introduced to bird riddles and begin to understand how clues describe body parts and functions. In Lessons 3 through 7, students research their expert birds. This is where they gather information, build vocabulary, and practice explaining their thinking. Then in Lesson 8, students participate in the science talk, where they bring all of that learning together. So Lessons 3 to 7 are really the foundation. This is where students build the knowledge and language they will use later. This slide highlights the core work happening in Lessons 3 through 7. This is where students are really building their knowledge. Students are learning how to closely read both text and images to gather information about their expert bird. They are identifying a body part and, most importantly, explaining how that body part helps the bird survive. That explanation piece is the most important work. It's not enough for students to name the body part. They need to understand and communicate its function. You'll also notice that students are recording their thinking in two ways, through writing and through sketches. Both are important, and both support their ability to explain their ideas later. On the right side, you'll see the key teacher moves. This is where our modeling is critical. We are showing students how to find information in the text, how to answer those guiding questions, and how to turn that information into a clear sentence. We're also modeling how to represent that thinking through a sketch, not as art, but as a way to make their thinking visible. So as you're teaching these lessons, the key question to keep in mind is, are students clearly explaining how the body part helps the bird survive? That is the idea they will carry into the science talk and their writing. Now, a key part of this work is feedback and revision. Revision is not about making it look better. It's about making thinking more accurate and clear. As students revise their drawings, they are improving accuracy, detail, and clarity. This directly impacts both the science talk and the writing. If students can clearly show how a body part works in their drawing, they are much more likely to explain it clearly. So drawing is not an art activity, it is a thinking task. This slide shows what feedback could sound like across drafts. We are moving students from adding parts, to improving accuracy, to adding detail, and ultimately to explaining their thinking. When students receive kind, specific, and helpful feedback, they should be able to see a clear progression in their work. As teachers, it's important that we make the connection explicit. Revision isn't just for drawing. It's the same process we use in writing to make our thinking more accurate and clear. And finally, we push students to connect their drawing to explanation. How does this help the bird survive? Finally, as students prepare for the science talk, we need to support how they communicate their thinking. There are 3 key just-in-time supports. First, prompt students to give complete explanations, not just short answers. Second, provide sentence starters so all students can participate and build on each other's ideas. And third, anchor students back to their evidence, their notebook, and their drawings. This keeps their thinking grounded in research, not guessing. Thanks for joining me. See you next time for Arc 2.